This year, we're going to raise the bar a little bit higher, maybe, if the bar could possibly be reached any higher, as we bring in Doyle Lawson and Quicksilver. They'll receive the Heritage Award. Someone who has spent a lifetime in our genre of music, preserving, perpetuating, and trying to carry on the tradition that makes America what it is. You probably know the legacy of Doyle Lawson. He's had multiple Grammys, Dove Awards, ICM, IBMA, SPGMA Awards, and he's a 7-time winner of the IBMA's Vocal Group of the Year. And he's a reigning Mandolin Player of the Year, and the awards go on and on. But for the sake of time, let me condense it just a little bit. Doyle Lawson was born in 1944 in Fordtown, a part of Sullivan County near the Kingsport, Tennessee, Virginia border. As far back as he can remember, he says, "I love the sound of music. Just about everyone listened to the Grand Ole Opry, and our family was no exception. Though I listened to all of the stars of the Opry, the group that impressed me the most was Bill Monroe and the Bluegrass Boys. His music was different, more intense. High lonesome is the term we used to call it. I could hardly wait for the Saturday nights to arrive so I could listen. I decided early on that I wanted to play that kind of music." My father, mother, and sister all sang gospel music when I was a youngster. They were members of trios and quartets that sang a cappella in churches, revivals, and on and on. No doubt that was where I acquired my love for quartet music. My father passed away in 1994, but my mother still lives in Kingsport, Tennessee. When I was probably 11 or 12, he says, I expressed an interest in learning to play the mandolin. So my father borrowed one from one of the members of their quartet, Willis Bird, so I could try. I mostly taught myself to play by listening to the radio, a few records, and watching an occasional TV show. I eventually returned that mandolin to Mr. Bird, and years later, he gave it back to me at one of the first concerts Doyle Lawson and Quicksilver played in Sneedville, Tennessee. He says, I met Jimmy Martin when I was 14. I learned to play a lot from him. Around that time, I made up my mind that I wanted to play music for a living and realized that only playing one instrument was somewhat limited. So I made a point to learn how to play the banjo and the guitar. 4 years later, in February 1963, I went to Nashville and got a job playing banjo with Jimmy Martin. In 1966, I started working with J.D. Crowe in Lexington, Kentucky. I first played guitar and later switched to mandolin. In 1969, I was back with Jimmy Martin for about 6 months playing mandolin and singing tenor, but then went back with J.D. Crowe until August of 1971. I started with the Country Gentlemen on September 1st, 1971, and stayed with them until March 1979. By this time, I had played in bands for more than 10 years that had their sound before I joined them. I wanted to put together a group that had my sound. Come July, at Uncle Dave Bacon Days, we're going to recognize Doyle Lawson and Quicksilver with the Heritage Award.